Alright, so, whoops, in the previous video I was making, this email called for an SWB20 clear plastic design, but it also called for earbuds, and those are so much quicker and simpler than the other thing that I just figured I'd make a single video for them because it'll be so much shorter. So we already have the folder for this group, which is in Adrenaline, and it's a school called CVU Redhawks. There is already a file in here, but that is for this type of vertical design. Like the file itself is horizontal, but it goes vertically up the item, and that's not what they're calling for here. That was for something older. What they wanted on this one was earbuds. So we go into the brochures for tumblers, templates, 2021 templates, which has inside squared templates 2021. This is all of our Photoshop templates, and the earbuds their code is EBSC. I don't know who put the new there. That's just always been there. They go through different designs on the earbuds, and every few years we get a new one. So that's probably why there's probably older earbuds somewhere around here. But all these files are ones we only use recently, like 2021. So everything in here is safe to use. There's nothing old in here. So open the earbud file, and it's basically a template that's usually there's already an old logo there. If you hover over this layer that the logo's on, which you can check is just by itself, if you hold Alt and double click on the little square thumbnail of it, that'll open it up in Illustrator. I think you can also right click on it and use the menu to select open, but it's just quicker to hold Alt and double click. So this is just an old logo. You're going to want to turn this bottom layer, which is just the kind of crop mark, on, so that you can make sure the logo fits as big as possible inside there. Delete the old one, and they had given us one. You could either take this one, which I probably will do because it's already pre-made, or you could pull the color image in and make it black and white. I'll go ahead and drag this one in to use it, but I also want to show, because usually we don't have this pre-made like this, so I'm just going to set it aside for now because I want to show you what we would normally do. Normally they'll just give us a really bad quality color image, and you know, these schools don't usually know, like, this is a terrible image, it's tiny and it's low res, but we could still make this a black and white logo and it'll probably be fine. Once it comes in and you select, let me undo that so I forgot to say what I'm doing. Under the image trace drop down, you click the arrow, not the button. You can just select the black and white preset, and then over here you'll probably have to go to window and make sure image trace is check marked. Mine's always open because I use this a lot. This is basically vectorizing a JPEG, or any artwork can be vectorized. I select 2 on the noise because that seems to fix minor details, and if you make the path setting 98%, if you go any higher it janks it up a little bit. And corners I leave around 50 to 75%, somewhere in here. And you can see it's still not working right, so the reason for that is the threshold's too high for that. The color balance isn't being made, or it's not picking up on that red versus white versus black contrast. So if you lower threshold, it should start catching it better. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to look great, but that's why it's a good thing they already had that logo made. But basically, once you get the color logo made into black and white how you want, you're going to click ignore white to get rid of the white layer, and then expand it to make it an actual vector art. So now you can see that it's see-through, there's no white, it's just a black layer, and it's all in vector. So you would then drag it inside the box and enlarge it. You know, if they requested text, you would put text, but on the earbuds they generally don't request text because there's not really room for it. But that one looks crappy, and they already had one made, so we're going to use the good one. All I need to do is delete out the text, which you use the direct selection tool for that. Whoops. Oh, you need to embed it first. It's vector art, but because I dragged it in, it's not embedded to actually edit the vector. So always you have to click embed. Once I do that, I can now use direct selection to get rid of this text. And now we should have just the logo by itself. Yep. And that's all they want. So we're going to center it in the little crop marks. Whoops. And once we have that, we can save it. You can use these align tools to get it perfect, but I have noticed that sometimes the vertical alignment is slightly up or down. I don't know if it's even now the centered alignment. I can see the left is slightly larger than the right, so it doesn't matter. Like these are millimeters or even less than a millimeter. And once you see how it's putting this on the mockup, you'll see that it doesn't have to be like that perfect. You're going to click Save As, go back to the folder, and in the top level of the CVU Redhawks, that's where we put all these EPS files that are things like logos that get etched on other items, because this is where the print team in the back goes when they're etching stuff. They look for the files in this area. So we'll just type CVU, and it's already got EBSC, which represents the earbud file, so they'll know what that is. CVU Redhawks is the team. And save it. Now we can go ahead and close this, and I was working on the other file for them earlier, so I'm going to close that also because it's already done. Save. So now back in the mockup file, you just right click on the logo layer and relink and go to the folder we just saved into and find that file we just made, which is for earbuds, and it will link it into this layer. So it's just a mock-up of how it's supposed to look when they get it. And that's done. So we just hit Control Shift S for Save As, go to Adrenaline and the folder, and when you save a mock-up, always put it in Z-Links, which is a folder you'll make when you make these. This one was already made, but generally we make this ourselves if it's a new school or new customer. And Z-Links is where all the mockups and all of any side files like images and logos and stuff generally go in here. The EPSs are the ones that go on the outside for them to use when they etch into these products. So it's going to be a JPEG, and I'll add the school name, and we're basically done. So that's saved. You can pick whatever quality you want as long as it's relatively high quality. You know, you could pick the highest. I had it lower for some reason. Maybe I was trying to make a smaller file the other day and it's just kept that. So then you attach it to the email, and I've already got the other mock-up I made in here. So we're good to go because he only wanted these 2 items. So then we send it off and it is done. And I'm using my emails to track what I'm doing right now. We probably will have we'll set up a spreadsheet or an online system later, but I just finish one email at a time and delete them as I go. That's because I'm working by myself. Once we have more than one person, obviously we will track this a different way. But that's it on the earbuds. They're pretty quick and easy once you get used to the flow of them. So they're not too bad. And that is it for this video. Bye bye.